Signing autographs out in front of the old one. So this will be a new experience, and I understand it's beautiful.
Is it a little bit bittersweet considering your first junior hockey game was played in the Pacific?
You know, those are the good old days, and sometimes change has to happen, and this was one of those changes that obviously was very good for the community, regardless of whether I played my first ever junior hockey game here.
You've been coming here for a few years. Obviously, it's a big thrill for the kids and everybody to meet you. What are some of the benefits of this for you, coming and talking to kids and speaking to the players?
I think regardless of how many times you do it, if you can help make a difference or get kids to realize that sport is great, but schoolwork is even more important, and you can help even one child in there, then you've done something right. The fact that I get to keep coming back and help cheer on the Estevan Bruins or whatever junior hockey team Baker Hughes supports, it's wonderful. It's giving back to the community, and junior hockey is such a fabric of every community, regardless how big or how small that is.
Can you just, I know sometimes you don't like to say exactly what you say to the Bruin players, but can you kind of give an idea of, kind of the motivational speech that you're going to give to them before the game tonight?
I think more importantly, it's all about the team. It's not an individual sport, and the message I try and get across is hey, look, it doesn't matter who gets the credit, as long as everyone is pulling together and playing together as a team, and what you can accomplish when you actually do that.
What are you expecting tonight? First time you were here was 14-0 for the Bruins. Last year was quite the chippy game with Kindersley. It's definitely a notable game whenever you're around. What kind of game are you expecting tonight?
You know, you have no idea, and that's probably the coolest part about sport. You have to go to the game to figure out, okay, what exactly is going to happen, and especially with young players like this, every game is different.
How did it feel to be able to present the Golden Stick to Jerome again on Tuesday night?
You know, that was a fabulous honor. The Flames had called the day before. Obviously, he had just scored it on the Saturday, and when they called Monday afternoon to see if I would consider presenting him with the stick, having scored 500 goals myself as a Calgary Flame, that was a great honor, and I just thought it was wonderful, and so proud of what Jerome has not only done in his career, but to score all 500 goals with the same team, and how he's conducted himself not only on the ice but off the ice as well.
What else have you been keeping busy with? Are you still in any kind of role with the Flames? Or?
No, you know, I do some things with Team Canada, which is fabulous, and having a chance to see quite a few of the games over the World Championships was wonderful. But I work with Baker Hughes. We've got our family owns a microbrewery and restaurant bar and 3 other restaurants down in Montana, and got a development going down there. So I got lots going on and just having fun.
Last year, of course, the Heritage game was in Calgary, and of course you took part in the alumni game against the Montreal Canadiens alumni. What was that like?
That was one of the coolest things you could ever possibly do. First of all, it doesn't matter who wins or loses that game. It's a chance to get out with some guys you have not only played with but played against over the years, and to be able to do it in front of 40,000 people in a football stadium. And I thought the NHL did a fabulous job. The ice was not as good as it possibly should have been, but they did a phenomenal job in taking it from our game to getting it completely prepared for 24 hours later and pulling off one of the greatest outdoor classics that could possibly ever happen.
I got to ask you, especially after last night's, of course, there's the whole drama with Camilleri, pulled in the middle of the game getting traded. Do you ever experience something, maybe a player on your team that's something like that, in the middle of the game, they got traded out in the middle of nowhere, it seemed like?
I have never heard of that happening, and if you're a Montreal fan today, you're probably wondering what the heck is going on with that organization. They're getting roasted a little bit when you think about it. they fire their assistant coach hours before a game. They fire the head coach at the morning skate. All of a sudden, they don't back up their coach just because he doesn't speak French. And now this latest one, boy, Jean Beliveau must be just shaking his head at this point.
You know, you mentioned talking to the kids or the concussions you had in your career. I mean, obviously it's a question on everybody's mind right now, but any suggestions to the NHL, to the brass right now on what they might be able to do?
Well, I think there's numerous things that they should be looking at. First of all, the padding is absolutely ridiculous. It's like armor. But then they also, there's more to it. They have to look at, when they took the hooking and holding out of the game, I don't think they realized, and then you add in the extra line or no center ice, so the speed of the game has really increased. Now, with no hooking and holding, you have these players going 9 million miles an hour, and the concussion, it doesn't take a whole lot of the force to hit a guy, and all of a sudden you've knocked him out of the game, or could actually end his career. So there's numerous things going on, and I think Scotty Bowman said it best. You may have to put a little bit of the hooking and holding back in the game and leave it to the referee's discretion, so that players don't have that free rein and free shot going as fast as they are.
How did they handle your concussions when you sustained them?
Well, my wife still thinks I have one, but that's beside the point. You know, in the old days, quite frankly, we ended up playing the game. You were given smelling salts, and sometimes you played even shifts or periods where you look back and you couldn't remember, but you played on instinct. And that's just kind of the way it was. Now, all of a sudden, or obviously with better medical people, or more informed medical people about the long-lasting effects of the concussions, and you look at people like Sidney Crosby that is out of the game, the league has to really step up and make sure that this cannot continue, because you can't afford to lose the best player in the game.
Quickly, I missed it on camera, just some quick comments on visiting the new Spectra place tonight.
Well, I can't wait to see what it looks like. You hear all the stories, but until you walk into the building, when you look back at the old building, and how great it was for so many years, and having played my very first Western Hockey League game in the old barn, it'll be pretty cool to see the new building, and how proud the entire city must be that they have that kind of a facility, not only for junior hockey but all of minor hockey as well.